Hello, welcome to Art with Michael episode 3. Today I'm going to be finishing the Grace Kelly picture, but one of the things I've noticed is that the colours are not as vibrant as I maybe would have liked. That doesn't mean they're bad, it doesn't mean I'm disappointed in the final product, but I do want to find out how I can get the colours to be more intense. One of the things is about layering of pencils and colours. I've got a few colours that I might use at different parts of skin tones. What I want to look at is how I can put them on the page, blend them, find out what they look like together, and maybe see how intense the layers can get. For example, this is the flesh pink which I've used as a base for most of the images I've done, but I have pretty much done one main layer, but I know some people can do 5, 6, 7, 8 layers. So let's have a quick look at how intense we can make this colour. Then we'll follow it up with a couple of other colours and then maybe see about blending them together. So as you can see, I'm doing quite a few layers with the flesh pink. Make a box of it, and then I do the same with the Academy Rose colour. And then I use another darker pink. You can see the very clear distinctions between the two. I go over each other at the sides to try and blend them together, maybe fill in the blanks to make it as gradiated as possible. Then after that, across the top, I try a little bit of a light grey to create a sort of a shadow colour. This could also be done with the magenta colour that I used. I try with a darker colour, but it doesn't really work out. So, on to Grace Kelly. Final stages here, I'm just outlining the arm, the hand, the back, where the dress goes, removing the grid lines, not very well unfortunately, and then filling in with this flesh pink. As I mentioned, the flesh pink that I used in the example, I did quite a lot of layers, and I have not done a lot of layers this time, and that leads to it being relatively pale. Now that's okay, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it, it's just probably not what I would have intended when I was starting out. I've also made a shadow part in a very wrong place, which I'm about to realise and remove. And I then try and disguise it. Again, I think I've done a pretty good job of disguising it, but this comes with this would be better with some practice. And then move on to some of the dress using some greens and blues. That works out better than I thought it would. I haven't had much experience using colours to create these effects. I move on to the back, and then finally I'm going to expand out so we can see the full image. There's my hair, and then I finish off with the hand. Some dark shadows are necessary. Then I try and match those dark shadows to the elements above, which is the shadows under the neck. All in all, I think I managed to match these shadows quite well. I do feel like on the cheek I've got a little bit too much magenta, but otherwise I'm quite happy. And this is the finished product. I'm quite happy with it, how it turned out, but I do tend to just see the flaws. Some of the things are obvious to me, like grid lines that I didn't properly rub out before I started drawing over one. I can see one here, but I can't rub it out without rubbing out the image underneath. These are basic errors. They don't matter as much when you do pencil, black and white pencil portraits, because it's much easier to deal with, but once you start getting coloured pencils on, it's much more difficult to deal with. I mentioned before about the intensity of the colour, and if you see this, which is the colours I've just put on, you can probably ignore the end one, but you'll see that the colours are much more intense on this from that little piece of work I did. Even on the arm here, just this plain base colour, is barely visible on the piece. It's almost white. Much like when I said earlier on that people draw the eyes white, they just leave them blank. I think I said that in my first video. I'm guilty of virtually the same thing here. I've kept colours that should be much more intense virtually white. It's okay. It's my first full colour portrait, not counting the one I did of the Joker, which, given he doesn't have much skin tone on show, was a bit of a cheat. But it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Next time I do an image, I'm going to try and work with much more intense colours and see where we go from there. I hope you found this interesting and possibly informative. Please like and subscribe. What harm could it do?